low last night against the Pistons. OKC only led by 4. That was just fine. The Thunder, they didn't allow another Detroit point for the remainder of the game, Wilbon. Are there any questions you have unanswered about this juggernaut?
I mean, the playoffs always pose new questions, but when you can play this way defensively, there have been some nights where SGA, certainly going to get my MVP vote, has had a 7 for 23 or 8 for 24 night shooting, and it doesn't matter because defensively they can shut you down and out, and did last night to close out that game.
Next up, Wilbon, congratulations to Houston. We have playoff liftoff. The Rockets, they locked up a spot in the postseason last night with a win over the Jazz. So, Perk, how dangerous can this Rockets team be?
H-Town in the building. Right now, guess what? It's a successful season for the Rockets. Unfortunately, they're not going to be dangerous in the postseason, and that's okay because they don't have that guy, that closer that they're going to need in the tough Western Conference to take them home in tight games.
Can we give our respect, though, to Chris Paul? 20th year in the NBA.
Absolutely.
And he has not missed a game. Mad respect. And with last night's victory against the Nuggets, no Jokic in this one, the Spurs, they got their 32nd win of the season. That means $262,000 for CP3. Windy, what are the chances that Chris Paul's back in San Antonio next year?
He's got all the options on the table. I think the Spurs would love to have him back. I think he could go sign with another team. I think he could go coach in the league next year, Malika. I think he could be in this studio with us if he wanted to be. But knowing Chris Paul, he's going to want to be on the court because he can still make an impact. That's where the most money is still.
There's no place he'd rather be. Now Anthony Davis and Klay Thompson, they're fighting to stay ahead of the Kings for that 9th spot out west. They hosted the Hawks last night. You're seeing AD here, but we should mention this is huge. Derek Lively came back, his first game since January 14th. This is about as whole as we've seen the Mavericks thus far. AD, though, poked in the eye here on this play. He gets bandaged up. He stays in the game. For all the flack that he gets, he is one tough dude. So going ahead to the third here, 7 minutes left in the third quarter. The Mavs trail by 5. Najee Marshall throws the alley-oop to Davis.
I love when AD is being a dynamic roller in the cut.
Knocking it down, too.
You feeling cozy in Dallas, huh?
Going ahead to the fourth quarter here, Wilbon. Early in the fourth, the Mavs up by 10. Klay Thompson throws the oop to AD, slams it down.
They were looking for him and obviously glad to have him back thoroughly in the lineup. Not part-time, not minutes restriction. AD at his best this season.
Trae Young, though, lethal floater. 25 points, 12 assists on the night for Young. And then Dyson Daniels drains the corner 3. So the Hawks take the lead here. 45 seconds left. The Mavs trail by 3. Klay Thompson looking like vintage Klay. Game tied at 118. And then right here, Davis gets the inbound pass, drives left to the rim, and shoots the fadeaway floater, makes it. It's his first go-ahead field goal in the final 5 seconds of fourth quarter or overtime since 2020 in the playoffs versus the Nuggets. So 3.4 seconds left. Young, this is the guy you want to have the ball in his hands. He shoots the 3, but he can't get it to go. Davis, 34 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks. Here's AD.
Great defense.
So Davis, he did all of that while playing just under 30 minutes last night. The second fewest minutes in a 30-point, 15-rebound, 5-block game since blocks became official in the 70s. He trails only Joel Embiid from that game he had in 2023. So Kendrick Perkins, this big man, is balling.
He definitely been balling, Malika and Wilbon. You know what they say, Chi-Town's finest in old Players Club. They say, Chi-Town, don't pay a country boy nothing. Here's the thing about AD, right? He could have sat out for the remainder of the season. He didn't want to. He wanted to be out there on the floor with his guys. He wanted to go out there and show the Mavs fans that they have hope and belief and give them something to be happy about. I understand it was a funeral when Luka Doncic left, but guess what, Dallas? Y'all got one right now. A guy that's a generational talent in the middle of his prime. Anthony Marshall Davis Jr. is here. He's happy to be in the Dallas Maverick uniform, and I can't wait to see what he does the rest of the season, and especially in the play-in tournament.
Last night we were talking about this in studio, Michael Wilbon. The fact that Anthony Davis came back, so many were saying, okay, maybe he's going to shut it down for the season. But we were talking about how much we admired the quote that he had when he said, I would see guys come in when they only had 8 guys available and laying on the floor exhausted. And if you see that and don't feel like you need to go out and battle with them if you can, that's what he wants to be a part of.
You know, let's face it, that whole operation, Malika, was depressed and probably still in the last vestiges of it now. And Anthony Davis, I admire what he did. I mean, he looked right into the camera. He needed to do 2 things, and I think he understood this, to sort of resuscitate them. play first, but also tell people, Perk, locally in North Texas, where people has been down and out and angry, hey, wait a minute. I am not going to shut it down. I'm going to come back and play. And he played with a fire last night that I really feel bad now, even more so that Kyrie's injured and not part of this. Because you know what? Dallas would have been a really fascinating team to watch in the playoffs with everybody in that lineup.
It's sort of this Wild West postseason chase is missing as a healthy Dallas Mavericks team. But, Windy, I just said it, they did get Derek Lively back. They have Anthony Davis back. And guess who's coming to town next week? Oh, yeah, it's Luka Doncic's return game.
Yeah, I think what you're seeing from AD, he's motivated by 4 different things. We touched on some of them. He's motivated to send a message to the fans. He's motivated to send a message to his teammates, his new teammates, that this is going to be something he's invested in. And he's motivated to do something for Nico Harrison, the guy who he's known for decades, the guy who believed in him to make this trade. He wants to have his back as much as he can. And he wants to do it for himself. He wants to show everybody and show himself that he can still be the centerpiece of a franchise. And I loved that they went to him in an isolation play at the top of the key down the stretch of this game to get the game-winning basket. That was Jason Kidd saying, I'm going to put the ball in our hands of our best player that we got healthy out there, give him the ball, clear out, and go to work. And he got it done. And so there's a lot left for Anthony Davis to say, even if the Dallas Mavericks aren't going to be able to put their best foot forward.
Draymond Green, thank you so much for stopping by NBA today.
I appreciate y'all having me.
It's always a good day, Draymond, when you are in studio, particularly when you were coming off a game like you all just did. Last outing, you have a triple-double. Steph Curry has 50 points here. In year 13 together, what do you guys say to each other on the floor after a game like that?
You know, honestly, you can tell when he's locked in and ready to go, and you don't need to say anything. And last night, he had the look in his eyes. He had the look in his eyes of shoot-around, though. And so coming into that game, and if there's one person that doesn't forget anything, he remembers the last time we played at Memphis. And so we go on the shoot-around yesterday, and Chris DeMarco calls our first unit in, and he's like, y'all remember what happened the last time we played at Memphis? I'm like, stop. Enough. Like, we don't need to hear about that.
Don't talk about the no field goals, right?
We'll move forward. We're not listening to that. And we had this moment, and Steph started yelling, yeah, me and Chris DeMarco going, and he starts yelling. So you just know when he's locked in. But I told him at the free throw line, when they fouled him, he had 50, and he went to the free throw. I said, man, oh, you already got 50. Well, go ahead and get 52. That's not bad for a 40-year-old.
That's not bad for a 40-year-old. That makes me worry about what you're going to say to the actual 40-year-old when you face off against LeBron James.
He got to hear it, too.
You said, Draymond, in February, that acquiring Jimmy Butler, this team was going to go last night against the Pistons. OKC only led by 4. That was just fine. The Thunder, they didn't allow another Detroit point for the remainder of the game, Wilbon. Are there any questions you have unanswered about this juggernaut?
I mean, the playoffs always pose new questions, but when you can play this way defensively, there have been some nights where SGA, certainly going to get my MVP vote, has had a 7 for 23 or 8 for 24 night shooting, and it doesn't matter because defensively they can shut you down and out, and did last night to close out that game.
Next up, Wilbon, congratulations to Houston. We have playoff liftoff. The Rockets, they locked up a spot in the postseason last night with a win over the Jazz. So, Perk, how dangerous can this Rockets team be?
H-Town in the building. Right now, guess what? It's a successful season for the Rockets. Unfortunately, they're not going to be dangerous in the postseason, and that's okay because they don't have that guy, that closer that they're going to need in the tough Western Conference to take them home in tight games.
Can we give our respect, though, to Chris Paul, 20th year in the NBA?